We started filming season 3 of the Adventure Escape Diaries with this microphone. And then you have a USB-C connector and a lightning connector. We have iPhones, so we're using the lightning connector. And that's exactly where we have our second problem. It's been a while, but we managed to go back to Paraguay. And now at the end of season 2, after traveling all over Brazil, we finally have a special edition, and this is a review episode. And in this review episode, we want to talk about this. And I'm not talking about this fancy bag I have right there. No, we're talking about this microphone. This is the DJI Mic. It is a very special microphone because it is wireless. And believe it or not, it's almost impossible to find a wireless microphone here in South America. So you can't believe how excited we were when we finally got it. But for some reason, I imagined this device to be perfect, flawless. Fairies would transfer my voice to the camera and everything would be wonderful. But then I opened it up, I put it on, I did a voice recording, and I realized it's clipping? What? Why should you listen to this review of the DJI Mic? Because we are not office reviewers. We are out literally in the jungles of South America. And this is where we're gonna talk about this microphone. We're gonna use it on an everyday basis. We started filming season 3 of the Adventure Escape Diaries with this microphone. Alexandra on her channel, Alexandra All Over, has many new videos already done with the DJI Mic. And now you will hear what we really think about it. Go to action every day, throwing it into the mud and recovering it to make beautiful videos like this for you guys. It took us about a year ever since it was released to actually find a place how we can get it here in South America. So it has been a while. We wanted to buy this ever since it came out, probably. It's almost a year ago since they announced it and had it, and we're traveling South America, so it's actually really hard to get by. And it took us a couple of days to get sent to this place. Tomorrow we're moving out, so it was a bit short notice, but I guess now we'll open this up and see if it helps. So you won't believe, but this magical device of all the YouTubers who hailed it into the sky came with some flaws. I couldn't believe it. I was glad that in South America I just paid an additional $75 more to the already hefty price tag that this thing has in Europe or in the United States. In this review right now we're gonna start with the cons, because I think most of the other YouTube reviewers just left them out for some reason. But obviously there are some pros as well, and if you want them, they're gonna be in the last part of this video, and then we're gonna have a nice surprise for you at the end, so keep on watching. So first of all, this is a wireless microphone. So the idea is that you transmit your voice right now from this transmitter to the receiver at the camera. And this should ideally be flawless. But when you plug this in, there's 2 ways of recording things. Either directly on the camera with the receiver, or you can record it on this transmitter directly. Now what's happening is that one of the flaws is when you record the voice here, it is actually very crystal clear and there's no background noise. But the problem is that at the receiver end, you will hear some background noise that's coming up. It's like a humming sound. And you know, I did some research and I think what's happening here is that the transmission itself somehow causes some interference. With this interference, you will have to deal in your camera. One of the good things about the DJI Mic is that you get different connectors. One cable that you can connect to your DSLR camera, and then you have a USB-C connector and a lightning connector. We have iPhones, so we're using the lightning connector. And that's exactly where we have our second problem. DJI chose to make the lightning connector mono sound only. Now we know that the mono connection to the iPhone is something that DJI did. Now, either it's a hardware issue or a software issue that they could fix with the software update, but for now they didn't. Actually, the connection to the iPhone with the Lightning connector can be overgone with an adapter. You can use the USB-C connector, connect it with a USB-C to Lightning adapter, and then you actually get stereo sound on your iPhone. We know that that's possible because our friend at HCH's Tech Outpost did a video exactly about that and was able to prove that the USB-C to Lightning adapter works and he got stereo sound. Now, the good thing about having stereo on your device is because you have two transmitters that you can use. Either both transmitters on one person, meaning you have a backup transmitter, or you use the second transmitter for another person, like an interview style. And what happens there is if you record it in stereo, the second transmitter is on your right channel and the one transmitter on your left channel. Another thing you can do when your device supports stereo recording is you can have a backup channel on the one transmitter. So another problem we encountered, maybe not with this setup right now, but when you have the clip right here next to your neck, sometimes, especially looking at my big beard, it can touch the microphone. And if you move it around, you can actually hear all these noises that makes. But for example, with Alexandra, she put it up on her neck and somehow there is no beard, but still when she moved her neck, you could still hear some of the noises that made. So to fix that, we started attaching her microphone with the magnet to her shirt. But now there's the next problem.
All right, so I noticed with shirts that are a little bit more loose, that whenever I talk, record and move, that sometimes it creates a bad sound.
Es war so, dass die ganze Wohnung voller Schimmel war. Die ganze Wohnung voller Schimmel war.
The microphone transmitter is small, but it's not quite as small enough to not kind of put some weight on very simple shirts. So sometimes she got the feeling like it would weigh her down, and that can kind of look weird. Now we're going to the next problem, the lavaliere microphones. Now we personally didn't have that problem. We have two lavaliere microphones that we're using, but some people said they have certain lavaliere microphones that they connected and it caused a lot of interference with sending it to the receiver. So you need to test if your lavaliere microphones will actually work with the DJI Mic. One of the big positives of the DJI Mic system is that it comes with a charging case. And that charging case can hold the two transmitters and the one receivers, and additional the connectors of USB-C, Lightning, and the connector to the Shoei mount for your DSLR camera. Now the irony here is that that device itself, the charging case, would be the perfect thing to take with you on any trip. But you have to take other things with you as well. Now, DJI is going to give you a small little pouch that you can carry with you with the charging case. And there you will have to have your two wind muffs, which are connected here right now, one of them. And you have a cable that you can connect to your camera, and also a USB-C cable that you can use in order to connect this to your iPad or to your laptop. Now, the problem is that these things do not fit into the charging case. But especially the wind muffs, this is something we need all the time. We are filming outdoors, that's why we bought the whole setup. So we need the wind muffs because most of the time there is some wind going. And that means we always have to bring this extra pouch, and it makes the whole thing just a little bit bigger. What would be perfect is if DJI actually made a charging case that can also bring the wind muffs. It would have to be just tiny little bit taller than it is already, but right now this is not the case. One thing I mentioned right at the beginning of this review is that when I did my first recording, I just started talking and I heard the microphone clipping. But what I did is, and that's a positive, you can have individual gain control on each transmitter of this microphone setup. So right now I'm using -2 just to compensate for my loud voice. And here we come to one of the last drawbacks of the system. we have an iPad with a USB-C connection, an iPad Pro. So I thought I can just connect the receiver to my USB-C iPad with the USB-C connector, and it will be able to record the audio. But that doesn't work. It really doesn't work on the stock camera app, and it doesn't work on the voice recorder app. It works with Filmic Pro. I tried it with that app. I'm sure there's other camera apps where you can select the microphone where it would also work. But I can tell you it's a bit frustrating. Now, after we had it for a while now, we managed to get the settings right, and I hope what you're hearing right now is actually beautiful fairy sound in your ears. And that's how we get to the pros. The reason why we have it and why we will definitely keep this microphone is because it's the best solution for what we're doing out there on the market. There's nothing else. Now, this is where we're really happy about the DJI Mic. We take them out of the charging case. I clip this on to my shirt or here my bag. We connect it with our iPhones or camera, and then we just go. We can film anytime, anywhere. And it's small enough to fit into our day bags. So whenever we decide to go for it, we go for it and we do it. And now here, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a really busy street there in the back. And previously in our previous episodes, especially when you look at the Adventure Escape Diaries Season 2 that was predominantly filmed in Brazil, to do the A-roll, I always had to find a really quiet kind of jungle path or something where there were no people, no cars and nothing, because I was worried that the audio would be spoiled with things that are going on in the background. Now here right now, I can continue to talk, and it doesn't matter if there's a car passing by or a dog parking. You might still hear it, but it's not bad.
So let's try this. I'm gonna cross a really busy street. I can barely hear myself right now. Okay. I'm in the middle of the street. All good. I can still keep talking. There's more of those motor cars coming. Got it. So I'm really curious how this sounds on camera.
The good thing is, now my audio is clear enough to give you the message that you deserve. Wonderful Christmas experience right here at the mall in the jungle. So I hope you guys enjoy it with me. We are now gonna go Christmas shopping. How do you like the sound? All right, another thing that it was very important to us is on our travels, we meet a lot of people who are traveling themselves and have interesting stories to tell. So we're doing interviews. Alexandra had some fantastic interviews on her channel, and I have some great interviews on mine. Actually, the next week, the next episode that you will see is a wonderful interview with an American expat who lives in Brazil. In order to make those interviews, we had to connect lots and lots of wires to our camera. We had Y splitters that would reach to the different participants of the interview. And then we had to be careful that nobody is touching any of the wires, because we were worried that if just a little bit is moving back and forth, then the sound quality wouldn't be good enough anymore. Now with the new setup with the DJI Mic, we can give each participant a transmitter. He or she just clips it onto their shirts, and then we go. There's really not much more that we need to do. And the good thing is even you can connect wires to the transmitters as well. Now another plus over the Rode wireless system is that this one does not need an app on your phone or on your iPad or even on your computer. What you can do is you can plug the transmitter or the receiver directly into your iPad or into your computer, and you can receive all the music files that are on there. Now, without actually having an app, the good thing is with the receiver that it has a touch display, and with this touch display you can make all the settings work right out of the box. Literally, open it up, swipe around, set the right parameters for your recordings, and you're done. Now, if you want the recordings of the transmitter, you plug it in with a USB-C cable into your computer or iPad, and then it will show up as a disk drive, and you just copy the files down to your computer. One of the last positives here is obviously the future-proofness of the system. You have a lightning port, a USB-C port, and you can do it with auxiliary cable. So whatever is going to happen in your future, if you buy different devices or if devices change, you can always use different kinds of setups with the same microphone device. So you see, with this DJI Mic setup, you can just go ahead and do the things you need, and it's definitely the best setup that you can get while traveling, like us. I told you we have a little bit of a surprise, and this comes from our channel friend HCH's Tech Outpost. Now, he did that video on that USB-C adapter, and we were really excited about hearing how somebody else already did something we tried to figure out. So he made another video about how to attach this USB-C connector to a gimbal, and just because I asked him about that, and I was really excited about that. So I thought, I want you to have the same opportunity. Ask questions about the DJI Mic. And when we get a certain momentum together, we want to make another video about the DJI Mic as a follow-up, and we're going to answer your questions and make sure that everything is clear for all of our viewers.
Overall, we really enjoyed using the DJI Mic for all our outdoor shoots and our travels. If you want to use it as well, get it for yourself, your friends, or your family, use the link below in the description and let us know what your experience is with this microphone.
So overall, I'm really excited about the DJI Mic and us traveling with it through South America. Check out more episodes, mostly about our travels, about living in South America, but also other tech reviews. And I'll see you in the next video.